So why the hell did I get into silver and gold in the first place? How you doing, everybody? Welcome to Empire Precious Metals. Thank you so much for watching. I've been asked this question many times. What's my background? What's my story? How did I get into silver and gold? Why did I get into silver and gold? There have been a lot of new people subscribed to the channel. What the hell is the dust? So they may not know the story as to how I got involved in all of this. And so those of you that already know the story, then obviously you can either sit here, listen, and give me the view, or you can hop off, whatever you want. But I will take you guys to the actual story. Okay, so how did I get into stacking? When did I get into stacking? All right, so I'll go back to 2004-ish, 2004, 2005. Bought my first gold. I saw commercials, and I've talked about this before. Again, those of you that already know this, I apologize. I've seen commercials about, the importance of gold, why you should buy gold. It was the typical kind of like infomercial, where you have like an old couple and they're looking at like a pamphlet and they're smiling and they're just like looking at it, and then you've got the host talking about like how gold is an important, piece of, human history, monetary, whatever the hell they were pitching. Just something that has been coveted for thousands of years. You know the shtick. So anyway, I was like, you know what? I don't own any gold. I should get some gold. So I went and I bought 4 ounces. And at the time, and this is why I always come back to this, this is so important for you guys to understand this part. At the time, gold was at all-time highs. Gold was at $880 an ounce. Yes, friends, we would all love to be there again, going back 20 years. But here we are, gold sitting at, what are we at, 3,279? So I bought 4 ounces, and at the time, it was very expensive. Buying at all-time highs, is that a really good idea? Well, maybe that ship has sailed. So what did I buy? I bought 3 ounces in tenths, so 31 10th-ounce gold eagles at $110 a piece. Oh my God, they're like $400 now in some cases, $350 to $400 depending on where you go. So bought 30 of those coins at $110 a piece, and then I bought a 1 ounce gold eagle for, I think at the time was $980. So I bought 4 ounces, took that gold, put it away in a safe, never thought of it again. Thought like, okay, I'm covered. I've got my gold. In case there's a SHTF scenario, I'm set. Fast forward to 2013. My grandfather passed away, and he gave my mother a bunch of these silver rounds. My mother gave my siblings and I the silver rounds divided between us equally. And I was like, okay, great. Thanks, Grandpa, for these. Thanks, Mom. Took them, put them in my closet in a safe. Didn't think anything about it. And then maybe a year or two later, was going through my closet, cleaning stuff out, came across the silver rounds. It's like, oh, I forgot about these. Let me see what these coins are. I didn't know what the hell these things were. And I'm looking at them. I still can't pronounce them. Medjugorje rounds. I don't know how to pronounce it. Some religious stuff. And I was like, I don't know what these coins are. So what do? I go on to the old Google machine and I start researching. And I start looking up these Medjugorje rounds. And I find YouTube channels talking about silver coins and rounds and bars and all that. And so I start, going down the rabbit hole, as I'm sure many of you did as well when you started getting into stacking. And so I was researching all this stuff, and I found that these rounds were just generic rounds, whatever. And I ended up taking these generic rounds and I flipped them into silver eagles. And I believe, and this is a rookie mistake, I sold I think I had 120. I had 120 of these silver rounds, and I sold them for, I think it was 103 silver eagles. Rookie mistake. I didn't know what I was doing. I lost ounces thinking I was getting the more desirable silver eagles that if I ever needed to sell them, or in an SHTF scenario, I would know how to sell these silver eagles, and people would know what they are and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I had now my eagles, my 103 eagles or whatever it was. And now I was getting more addicted to watching stacking videos and learning about stacking. And then I started to see some YouTubers who I will keep nameless, who were releasing videos and talking about silver and gold and stuff like that. And they didn't really even have a stack. They barely had, you know, 2 nickels that they could rub together. And they were talking about being stackers. And they were giving out all of this advice and their opinions as if they were a big authority in the hobby. And I knew a lot more information than said individuals. And I said, you know what? This person is growing on YouTube. Maybe I can do that. Mind you, I had nobody that was into collecting and stacking silver or gold either in my personal life. Nobody was into it. So I wanted an outlet where I could go and find like-minded people. And that's where I found the stacking niche on YouTube. And I made my YouTube channel. And that's where I started to kind of grow and learn even more and doing all the content creation, etc. But that's where I think that the hobby was even more, what's the word? More well-rounded and more rewarding in that you're building this sense of a community. You get to meet a lot of new people. Some people I've met over the last 6 years virtually have become some of my best friends in life. You just have this similar mentality. There's some sort of similar mentality that we all share when it comes to stacking that, in my opinion, kind of holds us all together. And again, this is just my opinion. Obviously, you've got other things that divide us, right? You got political aspects and religious aspects and all that other stuff. But when it comes to just our belief in stacking and money, we've got this one common thing between us all. And so fast forward now another, I would say a few months, actually, not very long. And I wanted to monetize my channel. I wanted to essentially hit that 4,000 hours of watch time, 1,000 subscribers, monetize the channel. I wanted to feel like I was an important channel. In my mind, this is what I was thinking anyway. And so what did I do to get more watch time? And that's when I started to do the live sale auctions, because that was keeping people entertained and on for 20, 30 minutes to an hour even, sometimes even 3 hours. I used to do really long auctions, but these people would stay and watch, and that was just racking up my watch time. I had already achieved the subscriber goal, but I needed to achieve the watch time goal. And as a byproduct to doing the auctions, I was actually profitable. I had no intent on becoming a dealer. I went into this just as a way to entertain the masses. And if I were able to break even, great. But I was profitable. I was like, wow, added bonus, I'm making money. And so I did it again and again and again. And here we are now, just about 6 years later. And I've had a very long run running these auctions, running Instagram and Discord sales, etc., and have been fairly successful with that. But all along, here's the difference, I think, with me and some other people on YouTube who also are sellers, who also stack. There's 2 different types of people. You've got the people who are the sellers, like me, the dealers, and other people, like I said, on YouTube, who do similar stuff as I do, like auctions and private sales, etc. But we also stack. We believe in silver. We believe in gold. We believe in holding it. If you can't hold it, then you don't own it, right? Or if you don't hold it, you don't own it, whatever. You know the saying. So being that I put my money where my mouth is, and that I believe in this, at least it gives me and other people who do the same thing as me some credibility, because we're not telling anybody to go out and buy stuff that we wouldn't buy ourselves. Now, there are people who are also sellers, will remain nameless, who do sell the products, but they don't really own the silver and gold as a method of savings and insurance and investment. They don't do that, and I don't know why. I think they just buy and sell and they just don't care. To me, I think it's very important when you are buying silver and gold that you should be buying from somebody who is also like-minded as you and are people who stack because they understand the importance. They get it. They're not just people that are just buying and selling and just making the money. Is there anything wrong with it? No, nothing wrong with it at all. You can buy and sell anything and not really believe in the particular product that you're buying and selling. But I think that is very important that you at least should be stacking if you are somebody that's in this field. If you are in this profession, in this career, in this hobby, and you're buying and selling silver and gold and you're not stacking, I think to me that you lose a little bit of credibility. That's just my opinion. Let me know in the comments if you agree with that. Now, in terms of my stacking journey, that's where I kind of went with as being, somebody on YouTube. But in terms of stacking, I've shown over the years my silver and gold stack, and it has morphed and it changes. And I'm sure it has changed for many of you and will continue to change. It will continue to change for me. It started with those very basic 4 ounces of gold, and then that 120 ounces of silver rounds, which then I converted into silver eagles. And then I was just stacking silver eagles, and I was buying just buffalo rounds, and I was trying to buy the cheapest stuff possible. And then I would maybe hem and haw over a 1/4 ounce of a gold and the price for the particular item, and maybe it was a maple leaf, or maybe it was like some like Canadian wildlife piece, or maybe it was a 10th ounce gold coin or whatever. And so I was buying this stuff, and then I was getting bored. So I started to buy some collectibles. I started to dip my toes in the semi-numismatic area. That's what I was drawn to. Not so much the numismatic stuff, the slab degraded silver, silver Morgans and peace dollars and ancients or anything like that. I was into the collectible stuff. So I started going down that road, and that's where I kind of found my niche as a dealer. That's kind of what I dabble in the most, is semi-numismatic stuff and bullion grade stuff, not so much the older numismatic pieces. But then with that, I started to get pulled more towards gold. And I noticed that the more I was accumulating silver, I was like, I really can be accumulating gold instead. I felt like once I got to a certain point with the amount of silver that I had, that it was too much, offloaded a lot of it, switched all of that money in and that capital into gold. And now I am primarily a gold stacker. I don't really stack silver anymore. If the right deal comes up, maybe I'll buy some, but I don't own a lot of silver. And the silver that I do have are collectible pieces. Gold is where I'm putting the majority of my money. Why is that? Saves you space, more beautiful in my opinion, more coveted. People want gold. You give them the option. Hey, do you want 100 ounces of silver, whatever the gold silver ratio is right now, but let's just pretend it's 100 to 1. You want 100 ounces of silver, or you want 1 ounce of gold? I'm willing to bet more people will take gold, unless you have the people that will say, silver's got more growth potential or whatever. Gold is where it's at. What is that saying? And I am always bad with sayings, but royalty and kings stack gold, gentlemen stack silver, and peasants deal in debt and barter, something like that. The point is, gold is where you want to be. And so that's what my journey has gone from, being just a low-level hobbyist to more of an invested member of the community when it comes to YouTube content creation, seller, dealer. Also, I created my business. I went legit, made it an LLC. I pay my quarterly taxes, my annual reports, and file all this stuff, like have a business in good standing. I maintain my website, all of that stuff. So, but as a stacker, my stacking journey, it's interesting, and I'm curious to see how you guys kind of morphed over time, from going from hemming and hawing over, silver rounds. Oh, it's $15.40. If I wait a little longer, I could get it at $15.30. Like, now I just buy it. If I want the gold, I'm just going to buy it, and I don't hem and haw over it. And it goes up, great. It goes down, great. I'll buy more gold. And that's where my mind is. Anyway, that's my stacking journey. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below and I can certainly follow up with an answer. But let me know in the comments below, where did you get your start? Why did you get into this hobby? Why are you doing this? And if you thought this video was helpful or entertaining, definitely subscribe and hit that bell notification because a lot of you guys don't have that bell notification clicked. And I'll see you guys on the next one.